People like to relate to brands as people.
Your brand is a ghost if the founder is not front of the camera. What are your thoughts on that? Like, is founder-led content for everyone?
You can't just do, like very dreamy content. It's not going to pick up after the second reel.
Right now, EGC is picking, CGI is picking, meme marketing is picking.
Meme marketing, more than being funny or more than being relatable, the key there is to be fast.
So tell me, brands are spending lakhs on their campaign shoots. What really works in branded content?
Indian brands are only selling on social media to top 10 to 15% of the population, and in that 75% user are men from tier 2 cities.
Content is a long-term game. It's a damn long-term game.
In this AI-driven industry, the only currency that's going to be left is taste. So just because every founder does not want to be a creator, it does not mean that the brand won't work out.
Hello and welcome back to another episode by Just Because. Today we have Vanshika and Mahima with us from WeCreate. WeCreate is a social-first creative studio who specializes in creating amazing content and strategies for consumer brands. Hi Vanshika, hi Mahima.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well. How are you, Muskan?
I'm good. It's my first time doing a three-way conversation and I'm very excited.
Yeah.
It's going to be
I think the last time we were together was on a shoot we were doing for a brand, and I must say it was really fun then.
Years back when I was planning my whole series for the guest when I was started this, I had you guys in my list since day one.
honored. We're honored to be here.
So let's start. I have this very interesting question. So we all know that internet पे इतने ज़्यादा courses flooded है on how to build an agency, how to build a creative studio, and I think 8 out of 10 of them are just a scam. कुछ अता पता नहीं होता हो.
Comments on that.
How to build a good, profitable content agency in 2025.
I think it was also that towards like the end or closer to when we actually started WeCreate. Just before that, we were working in this setup. We were, freelancing and taking a project, and we were just seeing that gap in the industry. At that point, it was still a very new perspective for us, and we saw that social media is booming, but everybody was doing the same sort of work. Like if you would open, like at that time, if you would open like 15 fashion brands together, you would see all of them having a very identical grid, which used to be like a very solid grid with like images being cut into like tiles of 12 and 9.
और फिर वो rows होती थी.
So that was there. So I don't know, it was just like, we felt like because we worked, and I think we were both like very hustling.
Not glorifying that till to today's day, but
But I think that's what, like in the first 2-3 years, I think we've done like 7-8 internships and, worked on projects and everything. So it was like, why not just, see if we can do something which can be different, and if we can add some value and bring in a fresh perspective. And I think till date, that's our vision.
yeah. Back then we had an edge because everybody was doing it a certain way. But if you talk to what the landscape is like today, in every nook and corner, you can find an agency. So while we say this, we also need to understand that the sea is huge,
Yeah.
right? You're always going to find your pool with fish. And ठीक है, agencies are going to come and go. Every new day, maybe there's somebody thinking of this idea, making an agency of their own. But you are going to find your set of brands or your set of people or creators or founders that you get to work with. So everybody says it's a saturated zone to get into now, but I still think that there's going to be time when content is going to have a surge. Okay, the production of content, the cost of production is going to go down. We have also seen how it's happening now.
Yeah.
So keeping those stats in mind, we can sort of think that there's going to be a content surge, there's going to be requirement of more people like us, more like the freelancers. And as long as you have an edge or a niche, you're good to go. Now, when I say a niche, I was earlier mistaken that, you need to find a niche in a certain industry or with a certain product. Not necessarily so. I've now come to realize that a niche can also be more service based. For example, recent awakening that, for us, I recognize that the niche is rapid content that's produced with quality.
Can you give an example?
For example, say what we sort of take care of, like an overview of things, is that we create content for brands on social media for different platforms. Okay, now that means 30 days of content every month, and not just one piece. If we're looking at formats, obviously there's something that goes up on your feed, but there are so many things that goes up on your stories. That's also content, right? So what we do is we sort of help brands making that content, whether it's to shoot on phone, to shoot on camera, to do it graphically, to do it through AI, to do it through CGI, different formats. So we are like a facilitator, one, to keep a brand active on social media, for it to stay relevant, because we are consistently promoting our brand on social media. And second is to give them quality content. I think that's where most of the agencies lack, is the quality. And because we come from a design background, similar background, I think we have been very A-word about it.
I think it's a lot about details for us, and I think that's been like the driving factor for us from day one. So I think personally also the chain of approval at WeCreate, I feel, is a little longer, because we make sure that everything goes through us, and we make sure that everything is going through a certain quality check, right? Because any other agency, any other freelancer, even a brand owner themselves can create something which is like basic. Everybody can use Canva and things like that. But if we are not adding that piece of value to every piece of content that WeCreate is sending out for social media, then we're not doing our job correctly.
And don't be mistaken for this for perfectionism. That's a bit different.
This is what I like about you guys, that you are very consistent on quality. Yeah, whenever I'm scrolling and a post comes, I know this is by you guys. Then I later see the username.
Oh my
That's
god.
a compliment.
Yeah. So it shows, like, when you're consistently doing good content that has a certain level of quality attached to it, people start to recognize it. And long term quality is all.
And I think like sometimes, when you're working with, say, like a Gen Z team and all those, sometimes, us being too particular about certain details might not be something that they enjoy at first. But I think now with the team also recognizing that, we have a certain way of seeing quality, and then, I think after the feedback being taken and incorporated, you can actually see the difference. And like, it's a very basic rule. Nothing below average or average should ever go out of WeCreate to a client. Everything that we're doing in our capacity should be above average. Like, that's like the bare minimum you can do, right? Like, that's a standard that we have to set. Otherwise, anybody can go to any other agency or like do it themselves.
I think as humans, I've said this before also, we should always take a moment and think, इसको मैं और better कैसे कर सकता हूँ.
Exactly.
I think that's my personal fear, to be average. Like the base value for me in life is like anything you're doing, either you don't do it or you do it and you make it like above average. Like
1% better every day.
That's the whole point.
I recently did like an analysis on ChatGPT. That was that trend, no? Like it said, describe me in a fun way based on our past chats. It literally said, you always have a way to say we can do better, but you make it less of an attack, but more of a constructive feedback.
Recently, I discovered voice notes on ChatGPT.
That's my favorite thing.
So now I'm just like talking, like sending 1 minute voice note to ChatGPT, explaining the whole thing, and then वो इतना अच्छा,
Exactly.
exactly word to word, comma भी हवा नहीं होता. It's that particular.
Because when you're speaking, you're feeding in more information,
Yeah.
AI, and based on pattern recognition and stuff, they'll also start talking like you.
But coming to AI, as creative people, AI has only helped us.
Yeah.
So how is WeCreate using AI in their
Definitely made it mandatory for everybody to learn their way around AI and to, like use it to their benefit. And I think, but there's still like a very big gap in terms of people really being able to use it to their advantage.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there's a difference between somebody who can use ChatGPT well and somebody who can't use ChatGPT well. I think that's like a visible difference. And I think now that we have used it a lot, and in terms of also recognizing and consuming content, we can distinguish something. Like, if you see, like the other day we were discussing a reel from some celebrity brand, and we were like, oh, this script is clearly like a ChatGPT script. Like, you can see the type of words and the lingo that is being shared.
I think simply with come and go of technologies, if we see a pattern there also, like we had people making portraits, paint, art, photography came in. People did criticize at that time, but it's not that these cannot coexist.
Yeah.
Okay, so similarly, when it comes to AI, there are narratives which say कि इससे हमारी creativity खत्म हो जाएगी, or people won't be able to think to a certain extent. They'll always seek help or in some form of the other through AI. So I feel that's to some extent true, but that's ever evolving. ठीक है? It's just about staying relevant, upskilling yourself, with the change in technologies, understanding why is this technology here at this time, and make the most out of it. Obviously, it's also going to we're also going to move past AI in a few years. There's going to be something new then, because the way technology is pacing these days is just crazy. So more to look forward to. Second, I also think productivity through AI. I think that's where, say agencies or brands or freelancers can tap in most, because, you can get a lot of manual work done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll give you a good example here. Like you mentioned the voice recording on AI. So my father was here. He was here a few days back, and one of his seniors just asked him to sort of go through some 800 pages of some book or some report or something, and he was like, "मैं क्या करूँगा ये करके?" And I was like, "You don't need to do this. I'll tell this to ChatGPT. You do it in 2 minutes." He has been hooked. Has been hooked to that voice thing with ChatGPT. So I want to create this. Why don't you give it to me in a report? This and that. Love it. So exactly, like instead of typing out 2-3 sentences, if you could just be very descriptive about what you want exactly, it delivers. And it's on you how you want to make the most out of it.
Be smart about it. Just smart with your time.
And I was also reading this quote. I think a lot of people reposted that. In this AI driven industry, the only currency that's going to be left is taste.
Yeah.
I also think with AI or say ChatGPT and how it's recently been integrated with that image generation update. Oh, it's crazy, by the way. It's like next mid journey. It's very nice. I've been hooked. I seriously have been hooked.
When it started, those 2-3 weeks at office, like we were literally generating that for every client, and it was like, okay, can this end now?
So, I think it's also helped me bring in more originality, because when you're creating so much of content for so many brands, you tend to just look at references, make some tweaks and send it for approval or something. Okay, so with AI, I think that is also something that's helpful in the sense that you're able to bring your actual visions to fruition, right? If you want to do it manually, it might take you days. It will take a lot of budget and everything. That's also good. But if you can't do it and if you need a quick turnout, maybe, just having a clear vision, and if you think you have a clear picture in your brain, you can definitely execute it through AI.
And for me, it's been very easy to now pitch ideas, because like I'm like this person who like these crazy ideas which you can never find references for. So I mean, yeah. So now you can just create that mood board and give like a clearer reference to a client as to what you're wanting to say, because not everybody can get into my mind and just like understand what I was imagining.
This is actually a very good idea. People can use it for pitching,
Yeah.
whether to brands or freelancers to brands or somewhere, once you want the other person to see your vision, you can just have like quick storyboards or something to give them a visual feeler of what it might look. That's also a good idea. Nice.
I think you just have to be smart and patient enough to explore ChatGPT. उसको 2-3 questions लगते हैं पर फिर वो समझ जाता है.
Now, like with the advanced one, because of how it can capture all the memory, so even if you like opening a new chat and like I've been doing this, please see our old chats. I'm like a toxic ex man. Please see our old chats and just get the data from there and then answer this.
I was reading this very interesting trend that, you know, with surge of AI and कितना ज़्यादा इतना technology हो गया है, nostalgia and that retro vibe is coming back. People are obsessed with retro again and they're going in that baby lips era. क्योंकि इतना people now want to go back, and the surge of PS3 और PS2 अब वो black में बिक रहे हैं, वो क्या हो रहा है, क्योंकि people want to go back to 2010 now.
Interesting.
So tell me, brands are spending lakhs on their campaign shoots. What really works in branded content?
I think we've discussed this a lot, and this is like a very personal take on things, not to like dish out on other people who are doing campaigns and things. But I feel like when bigger campaigns are done, they're all done with like a massive, oh, we'll make like a crazy set, we're doing like this crazy production. It's all looking beautiful. But I feel what's missing in the output is when that shoot is produced, nobody thinks of the social usage. Is that content really planned well for your social media? I think that's the gap that we have intentionally tried to like bridge over the last 2-3 years. That every time any budget of shoot that we are picking up, right? We plan it even if it's not like a client that we're working on with social media, right? Even if it's just coming as a project for a shoot, they want to get a campaign done. We always plan content pieces that we want to generate for them as a content output to be apt for your social media. You would need a teaser, you would need a certain sort of reels to engage people. You can't just do like very dreamy content. It's not going to pick up after the second reel.
Yeah.
So that's like one thing that we consider as like a good campaign in terms of the output that we provide and we want to provide. That even if it's not like a massive dreamy shoot, if it's going to work well on social media, that's what's going to make
Yeah, the objective needs to be clear. Like shoots are happening for e-commerce also, and there are people using e-commerce on Instagram also. But ultimately, what's the turnout from it? I'll tell you a funny story. E-commerce की फोटो लेकर इसके पीछे कुछ कर दो.
cutout बना के अब तो AI है ना, like use that. But yeah, not just for e-com shoots, even for campaigns that are like 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs. But what is the output? Like if we are just getting a model image and it's the same old shit, it's not social first. You're just spending money on doing a shoot that would have looked nice on a storefront on a billboard. One picture, and for that you spend so much money and you have nothing for your social media. Like
I think you need to cater to all sorts of formats. Then, if you're producing content these days, think about all formats, and I think you have to be very particular about social media for sure.
So like you have to think कि अच्छा website पे this will work, reels में this will work, Instagram पे this will work,
Board pe this will work.
of the dimensions also.
See, if you are working with a constrained budget, you of course think social first, which is your primary platform. It could be any platform that you are prioritizing as a brand or as a creator, right? So somebody, if it's YouTube, then of course they'll think first on YouTube in that format.
You know, I saw this very interesting metrics actually. Um, Indian brands are only selling on social media to 10 to 15% of the population, top 10 to 15% of the population. And in that, 75% user are men from tier 2 cities, from tier 2 and below.
Tier 2 is actually like the biggest consumer, if you see.
And this is short form content that I'm talking about.
हाँ, short form तो yeah.
Yeah, but that's what's working on social media right now. Even if we look at long form content, it was
Just Instagram or is it YouTube?
social, Instagram more. Because YouTube pe it's just shorts that, but YouTube is still known more primarily for long form, right?
YouTube Shorts तो देखते ही tier 2, tier 3 है. Tier 1 no one watches YouTube Short.
But I think the content also that's picking up is the kind of content that's picking up in tier 2 and below. The one that's floating around being viral and all of that.
ये तो branded content हो गया. Apart from branded content, like right now EGC is picking CGI is picking, meme marketing is picking. So what are your thoughts on that?
See, I think वहाँ पे भी if we see, I think for some reason I always date back 2 times and then see from where we have come out to where we are now. पहले advertisements होते थे, ठीक है? People would put in lot much work in probably creating a jingle,
Yeah.
something, and it still stays with us, ठीक है? From that, slowly we moved to social media marketing, e-commerce, and all of that came in. उससे फिर UGC आया, user generated content. That was like flashing product in your face, telling you what we're selling. Next step to it, employee generated content. I think brands who have picked on it, the main factor that they are sort of pushing in is not the product. Okay, like I think we've all heard it, like don't becho your product, don't be very in the face with it, it's not gonna work. Is the reason why EGC is working now, because people like to relate to brands as people. People trust people wala cheez, theek hai? So with EGC, you're able to give like a personality, character to a certain company.
User persona ban gaya.
Exactly.
Also, on this, I was thinking it's like you're getting the real deal UGC without the creators that everybody else is using.
Yeah.
Your employees, the EGC that you're creating in house for your brand, those are creators specific to you.
Yeah.
That is, I think,
They
like
might
a
not
very-
be creators also.
Yeah.
They're like people like us, no.
And it's not something, because if it's coming from them, it's people who are advocating for the product or talking about the product who are unique to your brand, right? It's not the creator that every other brand is using.
You won't see their face on 10 other brands.
Yeah, I think that's like a very big factor that,
But with this, don't you think like a consumer understands that they have the intent to promote this product? Why should I trust them?
So basically ना इसमें क्या होता है कि
वो तो UGC में भी है. Everybody now knows everything is like a paid partnership.
yeah. From a brand's POV एक तो ना this influence and this UGC thing is like a cycle. तुम कितना ही कर लोगे एक point के बाद, मतलब और कितने ही लोगों को पकड़ लोगे ना, मतलब गिने चुने creators हैं, गिने चुने influencers हैं, how much time, how much effort, how much inventory are you going to roll out every single time? So from brand's POV it works amazingly because एक तो आपका वहाँ पे cost बचती है, then you are building like a personal connect because जो एक तो people, employees in the team look like real people, they have real skin or they have real hair, they have real problems. So people relate to them with so much more authenticity.
We see from like a agency POV, it's a quicker turnaround time.
Yeah.
You can execute all the ideas faster, right? You don't miss out on topical content. You have to reach out to a creator, you have to do all of that. So that hassle.
Yeah.
Again, from like a monetary point of view, we are also suggesting it to a lot of clients who don't have a lot of spend budget for creators, right? Because you're getting one piece of content. In that, with EGC, we can shoot 10 pieces of content. So why not? So I think overall, it's like a better value for money in terms of the content, in terms of the ideation, turnaround time. Everything is a plus.
Yeah.
I think with EGC also, the pride and joy
Yeah.
that the team or whoever is on the other side of the camera feels is quite nice. For example, if I could just quote in, like for one of our brands, we had actually done this. So we thought, chalo, let's introduce EGC now, but instead of it's a food F&B brand, ठीक है, it's a cloud kitchen. So instead of doing EGC with the people who are sitting at the headquarters, like of the brand, we went into the kitchen and we're just shooting random bits of content with the kitchen crew.
Yeah.
So, first time they were a bit apprehensive, they were a bit shy on the camera, everything. Second time they were much more confident. Third time they were looking forward for us to come and shoot.
Yeah.
So, that gives in. So it does help in hiring as well.
I think it's a very key point you mentioned because then the team members feel a part of the brand. It's ये थोड़ा intangible चीज़ है पर ये बहुत important चीज़ है because then they feel the part of the family. Then they show their family members, देखो we are here. Then the family is also happy, the team is also happy. So this is what makes a person stay longer also.
True. The sense of pride and joy. I think.
Win-win on every angle. So like EGC is something that everybody should really.
Then meme marketing. What are your thoughts on that?
See, I think meme marketing More than being funny or more than being relatable, the key there is to be fast.
Yeah, like Met Gala.
Like we were today looking at time ki oh कितने बजे शुरू करना है.
Monday morning briefing talking about everybody has to be on their toes for Met Gala content.
Yeah, you have.
We're going to pull an all-nighter
Yeah,
tonight.
so it really does not matter if it's the funniest meme, but if you have posted it in right time, that cuts it for you. Example, how Zomato does it. I don't know, I heard it somewhere. Say before like a cricket match or a what.
Yeah, they have the memes ready for the loop.
Both. And the moment it's out, they do it. So more shareability and all of that. That's I
It's topical content plus relatability.
true. But then I think it's not necessary for all brands to tap into it. You need to find your own calling.
Yeah, Gen Z brands ka chalega, but like if you are some building very
For Gen Z brands, I think we're quite picky and mindful.
Try hard नहीं लगना चाहिए.
Like you can't
yeah.
be part of every other meme. Like why?
Yeah, I think you have to then choose on quality over quantity.
Plus, I think it comes to certain people. It's not everybody's cup of tea, honestly.
Making memes is my favorite part.
Yeah.
And I feel like even like topics like Met Gala, we as people in this industry, we might be consuming. If you go and ask other people, and like we discussed, tier 2 people are like the key consumers, they won't know what Met Gala is. So if you see like the consumption and the virality of say like a content piece that you're doing on like a politician meme or like a animal meme or like a cat meme, and then compared to a Met Gala, of course that's going to pick up more.
And what about CGI? Is it gone now?
It had a moment. It had its moment. It's gone now. Yeah.
It's fat, quick.
Because of the time consumption, because of the effort and the resources that were going. Like if you required a certain quality of CGI, it was quite expensive.
I was reading this very interesting statement a few days back that your brand is a ghost if the founder is not front of the camera. What are your thoughts on that? Like, is founder-led content for everyone?
It's subjective. It's definitely beneficial. We've seen for all of the brands that we've introduced founder-led content, it's definitely picked up. It's given them an edge. But you're not losing out if you're not comfortable being on the camera and, you know, like if you're not doing founder content, it's not a do or die situation.
हाँ, it's not definitive, it's not written on stone कि करना ही है. But अगर तुम कर सकते हो, तुम कर लो. क्योंकि, you know, just being out there and posting content is just something that can blow up any moment, right? In fact, I heard this theory, I think Tanmay Bhatt said it, symmetrical and asymmetrical returns, right? X co X is like normal, but with content to blow up, you can put in X and expect anything. So if you want to play on probability, sure. If you can do it, if you have all means to it, do it. It's only going to benefit you. Content is just like a catalyst.
I also feel not every founder wants to be a creator. Like, come on, like it's being like shoved up so much. Like there's that inherent pressure. If you're starting a brand, you have to be a creator. I think that's really not needed. Of course, then as brand partners, it's our job to create a strategy that if we're not getting that edge through brand founder content, how is it that we can create an edge through other content pillars and, you know, other content properties that we can create for the brand. So I think that way it can be modulated. But yeah, we're not forcing. We're suggesting a few of the founders to be on camera if they're comfortable. That's the first question. If you're comfortable, if you want to do, but not forcing them ki gunpoint, you have to do.
Plus, if you have seen, in fact, we've seen within our in-house brands also, like earlier, say 1 year back, people weren't as comfortable and weren't very active on doing founder content. But now everybody wants to do it. I don't know if it's FOMO or they've realized the importance of it or what, but really everybody wants to come to the forefront. Like, look at us.
By the way, this is the first time we're being on camera, guys. 6 years.
It was very hard. Founder ho na ho, I feel having a personal brand today is very essential. You know, it doesn't matter even if you like, say, अगर तुम डॉक्टर भी हो, तुम्हें फुटबॉल पसंद है, तुम फुटबॉल का
Make content.
like just make something out of what you like doing. You never know how it's gonna turn out. Like that guy जो whiteboard पे अपने आप कुछ लिख के he just clicks picture. So nice. Well, I think in this decade, having a personal brand is like the best thing you can do, and it doesn't have to be related to your profession. It can be anything.
Yeah, anybody can make content over anything. You just need to do it. If you think it's your calling, just do it.
Have you seen that uncle जो गाड़ी में वीडियो जैसे बनाते हैं बिल्कुल गाड़ी के बाहर खड़े होके randomly? तो दोस्तों आज का टॉपिक है.
I think it's sort of like bringing back how blogs started. It was just like personal take on things and, people documenting things they like and their thoughts on things. Now it's like in a.
We're actually in a loop.
Yeah.
And that's always going to say how trend cycle repeats. This is also some sort of trend every 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
Come back.
So guys, there's a lot of chatter on, building a community. सब कर रहे हैं community build, but no one is talking on how to build a digital community. So since you guys are the experts, tell me how.
Okay, loyalty, basically. Community is built by loyalty. And again, to understand how loyalty has changed over generations. It was very different for our grandmothers when they were looking for a brand or a product. It would mostly be, I don't know, at that time, I think they did not discover brands. Products or brands were just passed down to them. Example, चक्की का आटा or whatever. जिससे लेते आ रहे हैं उसी से लेंगे और discover नहीं करेंगे. Then comes our parents' generation, Gen X, Millennial Gen X के बीच वाला. I think since their childhood or TV advertisement came in during that time, they started looking for products or brands that could where they could see like value for money. ठीक है. Then comes our generation, millennials of sorts. Okay, so I think for us, value came in if we're able to share the same value as the brand. If the brand is talking like us, sounding like us, shares the same values, we might be loyal to it. और अब Gen Z के साथ, I think how you can sort of compare loyalty would be, say something like how transparent the brand is, how authentic the brand is, what are the core values of the brand, not just about the brand, but also its impact on environment or X thing or Y thing, ऐसे करके.
Also value addition. Like I think Gen Z, like it started with them talking about transparency and being included in the brands and everything.
Included also, yes.
But I think them also finding value in the product that they're consuming, that is still there.
I think loyalty will also always have, you'll always be loyal to a product if the product is hero.
Yeah.
That's always the best scenario. Everything we discussed right now comes after that.
It's about how you make your customers a part of your brand.
Exactly.
It's the main thing, you take their content, you use their content as your own content. Like, the chai, it's an organic piece of content. Chai, it's a shitty piece of content, but you make it look like it's the hero.
It's like more giving than getting wala cheese.
I think if you see like one very specific personal metric that I do, if I have to see like if a brand is actually, like credible or if they have like that cult status community, I always see their tagged.
Yeah.
Like if you see all these brands who actually have massive tagged content and they have real people tagging them, the brand is not paying them to post, and you'll see people from all tiers in there talking and consuming the product. For somebody, it's something that they've collected, say like 5 of the same products, all the variants. For somebody, it's an aspirational buy. They've saved money and purchased it.
Yeah. Like this, I think this club is a nice example.
Social listening, तो फिर वही है. I think social listening plays more importance than most metrics too, on social media at least. So what your customers are saying about your brand rather than what you are saying about your brand.
So any 3 tips on how to build a community, like 3 pointers?
Have a good product. That's key. Listen to the community and give them what value that they're seeking. Third would be continue with the product quality that you started with. You can't retain a consumer if you start at a certain level and then you degrade. You have to continuously keep innovating, keep providing that value to the consumer. I think that consistency is very, very important.
So, Vanshika and Mahima, tell me, what is the biggest misconception of founders when it comes to content, especially from a D2C angle?
Quantity more than quality, I think.
Flood कर दो पर चाहे घटिया हो.
हाँ.
If you see, this has been the structure, you know, a lot of people ask, कितनी reels दोगे महीने में?
God, I hate it.
We've like literally we made this rule. We will not
जैसे ये क्वेश्चन आता नहीं, हम वो करते ही नहीं.
करते ही नहीं है. We've stopped like we're like आपके ब्रांड को ग्रो करने के लिए जितनी रिक्वायरमेंट है हम वो करेंगे. Trust us on that.
जब भी I am talking to clients or pitching clients, then they ask me this question: how many posts, how many stories? हमने कहा जितनी आपकी ब्रांड की रिक्वायरमेंट है, किसी दिन 3 पोस्ट करने होंगे हम 3 भी कर देंगे, किसी दिन 0 करने होंगे हम 0 करेंगे. डिपेंड्स. आई कैंट गिव यू अ नंबर कि आपको मैं चलो 20 पोस्ट भी दे दूँ, फिर अगर तब भी आपकी एंगेजमेंट नहीं होगी तो फिर आप तो मेरे को बोलोगे ना 20 पोस्ट में भी क्या हुआ. सो आई हेट इट when agencies do it and give a number, and that the content quality is so shit. You can't put a number to content quality.
I mean, even if you're doing 30 posts a month, but out of that, if 27 of your posts have no value addition, it is just pictures, or it has, like, even if it has text and you're doing elaborate graphics, but it's not doing
It's
anything,
too static.
it's useless.
But tell me one thing, what do we think of? I mean, I'm not on this side of the opinion. I'm on this side of the opinion. But the reason probably why D2C brands are focusing more on quantity rather than quality, could it be because of performance marketing? Because in today's day and age, ultimately what's working and making a brand grow, regardless of all the other factors to consider, is performance marketing.
Muskan was telling her least favorite word in the world.
ROAS.
Oh my god. ROAS.
Nightmare. I think we were discussing the same in the morning. We were like, no, we don't want to get into this. Although, like, it's not something that is a personal.
Harsh truth, at least currently it is. I mean, we three of us are not the statics, graph, girly. We are more like that girly for social media. But yeah, I think it ultimately comes to that. Their point of bit on this is also correct to a certain extent. Performance is not anymore about burning money. It does give you return if you're just connected with the right people who can do it right for you. Great, your brand's gonna grow even if your product's shitty. But yeah.
Turn nahi aayege, but yeah.
So your website content cannot be your social media content. Your social media content is also not your ads content. Right? Like, so if you are really wanting to do everything properly, then plan separate content for your performance. You know, don't expect everything to be done under the same content
Sometimes content is community, is engaging. Ads content is selly USPs. Website content is straight to the point. अब तुम सब थोड़ी.
But अभी तो ऐसे performance में भी storytelling. I mean,
You know, one thing I like to add to this thing is that, you know, founders and brands expect कि एक महीना हो गया, कुछ हो क्यों नहीं रहा है?
that's a favorite.
of our lives में देखो
वे कुछ हो क्यों नहीं रहा है?
10,000 followers के नहीं हुए.
सबर करो, रुको जरा.
Viral कब हो जाएंगे?
No, but I think founders and brands should have a long-term vision. If you are doing something, you can't expect कि 2 महीने में 3 महीने में तुम्हें इफेक्ट दिखने लग जाएगा.
वो तो मतलब पेड मीडिया भी नहीं दे रहा है, ऑर्गेनिक कैसे दे देगा? मतलब सिंपल चीज.
Yeah, so I would just, if anyone is seeing here who is a founder and a brand, please have patience. Content is a long-term game. It's a damn long-term game. You can't expect results in 2 months.
I would rather say if the tables were turned, like, and if we have to tell them to do something, spend more time and focus on innovating and making your product better. That's what's really going to make your product viral in the long run. Like value addition and how good your product can be, rather than one viral user thing.
I think we are done with all the Q&A I have for you. I have a very interesting segment plan. So this is I want this to be a case study sort of a thing. So hypothetically, let's take a sunglasses brand. Let's name it POV. Just thought of it. And so the details are that the brand has a price point of under 2K. We are targeting to tier 1 and tier 2 cities. Age group 18 to 30. platform, let's do IG for the first 4 months. And the brand's style language and the demographic and the audience we are catering to is that the brand is affordable, the brand is stylish, and the brand is massy. So it's like sort of being in that aspirational zone, but yet massy. So, what will be the content and social media plan for 0 to 3 months, and what should be the focal point of each month?
Okay. So phase 0 would be building a brand identity after product development, of course. So how your brand logo, packaging, experience is going to be. This would also include what's the first consumer experience when somebody purchases and receives your product, right? Second would be to create a visual library in terms of creating a brand language and how your brand is going to look and feel, right? Now for this, yeah, creating, yeah,
Personality, character.
now for this, there could be different ways to go about it depending on the budget that you have.
Example, when we were talking mood, so what kind of mood are you associating with your sunglasses styles? Are they more vacation styles? Do they take you to the beach, sunny's out, that sort of a mood? Or are we talking more metal frames and something that can be worn on an everyday for like corporate girlies or guys, whatever? So that mood needs to be built on strong, because that's going to stay for a longer time as what your brand actually looks and feels like. So then from here we go to the second step, as she mentioned, which is like a production shoot or whatever. Agar usme hame wahi vibe rakhna hai, it's very easy, chill, reminds you of the beach days or something like that, then maybe your pictures or what your content you're churning out to be is on the same theme.
Yeah, so supposedly if I'm launching my first collection or vacation collection, because the summers are just around the corner, so it has to be like very Sol de Janeiro vibe.
Yeah. Yes.
So the aim is basically transporting the consumer to a dimension where they can really resonate with the product.
And how can we do like an interesting pre-hype to actually like
If you're able to churn content that speaks about what's going to come, say if you're talking vacation, so if we do say content around, like say if we do memes around vacation or the feeling of being, or hot summer bodies and all of
yeah, like you can take white.
White Lotus. Yeah. I was just going to say that, maybe you could plan like a complete AI campaign where you have all these celebs vacationing with their
pop
sunglasses
culture thoda bahut la sakte.
You have Kylie Jenner vacationing with these sunglasses on. Right now, you've not revealed that it's your product, right? But maybe people are like, oh, I really love these sunglasses.
Yeah. Maybe you can have like a secret coupon code situation. If the people who engage with it, then they can, even if your website is not ready, you can give the a secret coupon code like an early access. Ki just then you guys launch it, the person can put in that secret coupon code.
And have a look at.
Yeah, it'll also help build in community in the
Interesting thing. So, our POV on things could be like a very good content property.
Oh, I love it.
So, like the brand is all about POV, right? So it could be see the world through our eyes, or, our POV on things. So our POV on, if you are on a vacation and this is our POV.
like your hot takes. Yeah. हम ही बना लेते हैं. So, what has to be my main focal point for for -1 month?
Branding, not blanding.
Your communication right.
And I think the packaging and the consumer experience needs to be sorted.
Yeah, if you can do something great with packaging, be it the case or how your sunglasses are delivered to you, because you also need to understand competitive marketing. Agar dekhe in the same this thing, how are all the brands in this price point or even higher price points selling this product and delivering this product? If we can do just 1% better than that, gives us an edge. So I think कुछ ना कुछ differentiating factor तो होना चाहिए.
They're like the wow factor.
Yeah. For some reason, I'm just thinking about the pencil box जो बचपन में आते थे, जैसे flip हो जाते थे. कुछ ऐसा कर सकते हैं. Maybe on day one it makes you feel like you're on a beach, but on the second flip side, it's making you feel like some other place on a vacation.
Yeah.
Something like small integration like that could just work for you.
Yeah. interesting, like some wow factor in the packaging.
It's packaged.
ठीक है. Now coming to the launch month. How are we planning to launch it?
So now that you have planned a good product, you've planned your visual language, now is when you start making your product seem something that everybody wants. That is the core of it.
FOMO.
FOMO. You make it like something that all it girls or it boys have. It's something that's already going to gain that cult status. You make it seem so aspirational and interesting that as soon as you're ready to launch or go live, people are already interested in your product.
So maybe just a seeding campaign with micro nano influencers if you have that budget, or if you can afford the macro influencers, that will be great. If we do not want to keep it to particularly influencers or creators, we can always find the kind of people who we would want to be associated with our brand. Could be entrepreneurs, friends and family and all of that. So एक seeding campaign wherein, probably if you have the budget, do like a standout press kit or something.
Of course, if you have budgets, then you can of course go for like a proper launch event.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even how Revolve does influencer community events, the whole scape is like that. The decor, the food, the
You're mentally there, you're physically
yeah.
there.
Even if it's like a one-day marketing event at an Airbnb in the same country, you can just sort of give it an edge by following a theme overall.
0 month, we can send the products to the UGC creators and then you can have the content ready.
I'm just in a loop thinking of POV ideas. So now I'm thinking if it could actually be that we send it to creators from different walks of life. They're all wearing the sunglasses and they're talking about their POV on certain different topics. Like it's not about style, it's not about trend. It's just my POV on things. So people who are vocal have a point of view on things. They are the exact right TG of the brand that we're creating. So that could be really interesting.
We can also do a newsletter, that gives a different POV on different situations.
Yes. Does not scream that we're selling our brand at all. At all.
Yeah. This is where you also build the community, right?
So what will be the main focal point for the launch month?
Creating visibility. Yeah. In a nutshell, yeah. Visibility now. Visibility and taking it towards awareness and bringing it to a stage where it's going to be ready to scale.
So I think month 2 is going to be a repeat of what you did in month 1.
But more aggressively.
More aggressively.
But also feedback.
Fine-tuned and based on feedback.
Yeah.
So you now enter a feedback because initially you are in a space where you're just showcasing a product. People haven't consumed it yet, right? Like now, month 2 is where people have seen the product, consumed the product. Now it's where you get feedback.
We'd also do a lot of styling content.
Yeah.
Around sunglasses. It does not have to be very educational in terms of styling, but how can you explore more and how can just a sunglass it change the whole vibe of your outfit or whatever you're putting together.
I think in second month we can explore different POVs.
Yeah. Also, like from this, if we see as a product, it's a smaller product, right? How do you give it that impulse buy status? Yeah. I think that's very important. So you market it in a way which, as a brand, you are saying for every different mood, we need a different sunglass.
We can do like how celebrities wear sunglasses in front of paps, or when they're crying or they want to hide, we can do a sob glass.
Yeah. Oh, I love soft glass.
So, just exploring different types of content and picking up on every mood to target every TG.
Yeah. And come up with your own personal content buckets.
Yeah.
Unique content bucket.
Yeah.
Like, see कि यार 18 साल के बच्चे की लाइफ में क्या क्या हो रहा है और फिर सब पे कंटेंट बनाओ. कोई तो चमकेगा उसे. Now coming to our last month, what do you suggest?
I think last month is just going to be a cumulative strategy of all the two phases that we have discussed and refining it further, either based on feedback, based on quality, based on frequency, consistency, and all of that. As long as you can follow these steps for the next 6-9 months, you're sorted in terms of strategy. But after that would be something, probably where you need to look at a step higher to your previous strategy or something like that.
Just being consistent would be the crux. You've planned everything, you've started something. Be consistent, and you're going to have to be patient. Yeah. So patience and consistency now.
Yeah. I think just explore different kinds of content, play around with content, play around your POVs, and take the feedback of your customers, and I think we are good to go.
And I think in third one, probably you can, again, like we were talking refinement, that could also be in terms of the kind of faces now you're getting on board, be it influencers, creators, or whatever, but sort of just talking as, well, getting ones who are feel like your ideal customers, actually.
आइडियल कस्टमर से आते हैं जो एक्चुअली आपके कस्टमर्स का आपको थोड़ा थोड़ा कंटेंट भी आना शुरू हुआ है पुट दैट आउट पुट द रियल फेसेस आउट पुट द रियल कस्टमर
And also explore different types of collaborations, be it creators, be it cross brand. Just diversify the content avenues that you can get content from.
So what will be the main focal point for the last month?
Consistency and diversifying content.
I think that's all for this segment. If anyone is really looking out to build something, इससे उनको बहुत ज्ञान मिल जाएगा.
हाँ, बस सेम मत शेप लेना, नाम मुझे बहुत पसंद है.
ये हम रख रहे हैं. This is our brand, guys.
Yeah.
Got it. One last question. We do this with every guest. What is the best piece of advice you have ever received? Both of you.
For?
Life, profession, anything. The best of best.
Oh, at least in our profession, very late I realized this. That shouldn't be so. Don't burn bridges. I would also say there would be some bridges that need to be burned, and you would enjoy them, light your way forward that bridge. But try to know people. It's a very people business. So, just understanding people, valuing people, that's the first and foremost thing when it comes to shaping a business or a brand or anything for that matter.
Yeah. People first. Relation first. Interesting. What about you, Vanshika?
I don't think it's like industry centric or this thing, but it's just about that anything that you're putting your effort into or your energy into never really goes waste. Like you're putting in the energy and sometimes you feel like it's not really being used, but at the end of the day it's really going to end up contributing to some factor of growth in your life. And I think hard work and effort and you putting your heart and soul into anything never goes waste.
Like Steve Jobs learned calligraphy. Then he later used it while creating MacBook.
Yes. वही है, मतलब even if you're mid at something, if you do it constantly every day for some time, you're going to be good at it.
Like a personal this thing, like although it's like a monetary exchange of service, right? It's also about somebody is letting you handle a dream of theirs. So you have to make sure that you're giving your 100%, your 110 for them and doing your best for them.
Interesting. I think I've gotten everything I wanted from this conversation. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Having a chatty conversation.
Very chatty.
So, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you guys had a lovely time at Just Because. And see you guys next week.